That's an unassuming can of soda or pop, depending on where you live in the world. And normally to open it, you put your finger under the tap and you pull up and voila, your soda's open and you can enjoy it on a hopefully warm spring summer day outside. But not everybody has the dexterity to open one of these. There's this really cool print that I saw and I was like, man, that is a really cool mechanism. I can't wait to print that. I just want to try it out. But in printing it and seeing how it works, it means way more than just being a cool mechanism. Where are my manners? Welcome to 3D Printing Nerd Studios, proudly powered by PCBWay. CNC, PCB, and 3D printing. It's all at PCBWay.com. And 3D printing is what we're talking about. In fact, this is of the practical variety because the print I'm about to show you and take you through the assembly of is not just a cool mechanism, it solves a problem.
Tell me more.
The print file is over at Colts 3D, and it's this incredible mechanism. It's got a little foot on the bottom and a trigger that you pull. And when you put it on top and you pull the trigger, it cracks open the can of soda. Let's get to building it. The print files really are sort of just unassuming. It's incredible to see. That's it. That's all the parts. When you load these parts into your 3D printer's slicer, there are a few things you have to do. You want to make sure you take this piece and orient it this way, and then just have supports built right under here. For these, you make sure the big flat pieces are down. This one was interesting, and I didn't think to do it until I got everything printed, because here's what I printed initially. These pieces are just mirror images of each other. So you print one, and then you mirror this on an axis. You mirror it on the x-axis, and then you print it again, and there you go. You can actually put 2 copies on the build plate, so you get all of the prints done all at once.
Simple.
Now, in printing this, I think part of the joy of 3D printing is being able to print in multiple colors. So I got this red one. Oh my gosh, I love the red one. And then I got these gray PLA parts that I think look pretty good. Here, it's got a little design on the top, kind of cool. This was made a while ago, just 3D printed, and I just haven't assembled it yet. And then part of what makes 3D printing fun is being able to use multiple materials and really cool slicer features, because check this out. This is PETG, but with a fuzzy skin. We're talking about something that people are gonna use, and a surface with a fuzzy skin has a much different feel to it than a non-fuzzy skin texture. And I think in this case, it's an incredibly positive texture to have on the outside of this for everybody to be able to hold. But then also, here's all the rest of the pieces. Again, this is PETG, cool. Oh, there we go. Now for these, obviously I'm gonna mix up the colors, but I think you can do it any way you want to, but I am definitely gonna mix up the colors. But let's talk about each of the pieces first. These pieces are the trigger, and they go flat on the build plate. And I'm gonna see if I can demonstrate how they work. This spring mechanism is just printed. And again, because it's printed like this, you get all the benefits, the mechanical properties of a springy mechanism, because you're with the layer lines. There's a little notch right here, and boy, that's a tight fit. So that slides in to there, and then this piece is supposed to slide in right here. And I would think that most 3D printers are fairly calibrated, but the tolerances on this model are really, really tight. And initially I was like, I'll get some sandpaper and I can sand it out and make it work, and then we're good. But instead, I'm gonna show you a trick using a drill and a drill bit to make the holes compatible. I got some bits and I got the drill, and I did the most important thing with the drill. Of course, we all know that's the right way to do it. You wanna make sure that this hole is essentially 1/4 inch. So if we put this in the drill, kind of trues that hole a little bit, because then when you put it on where it needs to go, it slides right on. Not too bad, not too bad. It actually goes in just like that. That rotates well because we've trued up that dimension. And then you put this together. All right, that is in, and that is not going anywhere. So the installation Boy, it's really hard to see, but on the inside of here, there's this cutout that the spring rests in. You put it back in there. Let's see, maybe if I do it like that. Okay. If you take a look, that is essentially the installation. Now we got to put these in. You want it to rotate really well, but these aren't going in as easy. And so what you can do, again, we bring out the drill, and now we're gonna go to, I think it's 3/16, right? If I do this, and I hold that right there, that's just about perfect. So, it could be that when a print is sitting on the build plate and it's got a little bit of a squish, like an elephant's foot, that can cause this to not slide in properly. And so not a lot of plastic was removed, but we did true up the hole, and now we can probably put it in. Okay, get it in there. Goes in there. And then, look at that. Look at that. It's super easy. It works really, really well. Let's see. Oh, it makes contact. I don't want to open this yet. Let's get the other ones assembled. Let's test it out. I've got a can here of Coke Zero, not sponsored. There is that design on top. If you take a look at it, that's gonna tell you the direction in which the tab should go. Let's see if we get purchase. We do. Man, that worked a treat. As I was holding it down, I was squishing it, and you shouldn't do that. So the insides did get a little soda on them. Just clean that out so it doesn't get sticky. That's not bad. I know it's just a print. It's just one of those things, you load it up and you hit print and you're good to go. But ever since doing cool stuff with Gnome and Make Good, you kind of look at the world through a slightly different lens. Something like this, a cool thing that has some neat mechanical features and it kicks open a can, that's great. But when I showed this to my mother-in-law, she doesn't have all of the dexterity in her hands anymore, and she has a lot of different tools to help and aid with opening cans of soda or juice or whatever. And I remember I brought one of these prints home and I showed it to her, and she's able to use the strength in her hand to open something that's usually a finger. She loved it, and she said I wasn't getting it back, and I totally understood why. And so this doesn't necessarily replace anything. This now allows more people to have more freedom in their lives, even though they might not be able to open up a can with their finger. Now they can with a simple tool. All because of what I initially thought was a silly, fun print. Well, now the question that I have for you out there, does the world seem different to you now that you see it through the eyes of someone who can 3D print? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for coming along on this little journey. I would love to feature more prints like this. It's such a simple thing, but it could mean the world to someone. And I think that's where the joy for this really comes from. Because I've printed a couple of them now, and I can give these out to people thanks to 3D printing. And if you've made it this far, you're awesome. Don't forget to hug each other more. Fight for a cause you believe in. Print all the practical things. And as always, high five.